Good evening, my friends. Good evening, everyone. Nice to see you all here today, right on Monday, right after Mother's Day. It's a pleasure to see you all, and we're going to be speaking today about something really interesting. Uh, and I know it's interesting because it comes from a formidable man, and his name is Francis of Assisi. And Francis of Assisi is, every time that you say this name, you know it evokes joy because he lived in joy. And because our show is a 15-minute talk about spiritual joy, the psychology behind it, we're going to start by saying, what is the difference again between joy and happiness? And happiness, we've talked about it a few times. We just need to understand that happiness is something that is given to you, while joy is something that is in you and that most likely you feel it because of what you give. I hope that you all can see me. Please leave in the comments anything if you cannot see me and somehow, or if there's a problem, because I'm trying a new program here on Kardec Radio. So I wanted to start by saying that if we want to feel this joy, we have to give. We have to really put things forward, outwardly, and not so much worry about the inside, how we feel. It's not really about us. It's not really about what others can do for us, but what we can do for others. And I wanted to start, of course, and let me see here if I can bring this to our screen. I hope I can. I really hope that you guys are able to see me. And please let me know there on Kardec Radio's screen if you are able to see me and if you are able to see the prayer that I just put on online. Anyway, so it's the prayer of St. Francis. Now, why is it so important for us to understand the joy of spiritual, this joy, the psychology of joy inside of the spirit? Because that's who we are. We are spirit. If our spirit is not full of joy, then the happiness that we're always searching for is going to be a momentaneous episode. It's going to be something that's going to come and go and come and go. But joy is something that you earn and you keep it. It's something so amazing that you really forward it. You really pass it on because it is within you. It is within your spirit. Now, again, I'm trying here to see if you guys can see. Please let me know if you can see the prayer that I just put online, the prayer of St. Francis. So we're going to start by saying, Lord, make me an instrument of your peace. So first, that's the first step of joy. You are asking not something for you, but for you to become instrument, for you to become something that is going to be useful. We know that usefulness is one of the top things for our mental healthness, to have a mental health. We need the feeling of usefulness. We need the feeling of doing things towards others. Thank you, Nora. Thank you. You said yes, so I'm assuming that you can see the prayer. I can't see it, but as long as you see it, that's great. Thank you so much for responding. So the prayer of St. Francis, Lord, make me an instrument of your peace. We are always constantly asking for things for us. Lord, give me this. Lord, give me that. Lord, I need this. I need that. He knows. He knows exactly what you need before you even say anything that you need. But in this point, the prayer already starts saying that, Lord, I just want to be instrument of what you want, your will. And when we do that, we already are saying, I want to feel the joy. I want to feel, Lord, the Lord and I as one. I want to feel this perfect connection. So once I say, make me an instrument, I'm not saying it's something for me, but I'm going to be a medium. I'm going to be in a way in which God is going to act. Then it says, where there is hatred, let me sow love. How many of us sometimes feel that I need to feel happy all the time and I don't want to be involved in hatred? So when this is said that where there is hatred, let me sow love, It's an opportunity that we're asking for. First, you ask God, right, in this prayer, Lord, make me an instrument of your peace. So you're asking God to be an instrument. Then the second verse, it already says, where there's hatred, let me sow love. So you're already asking to be an active instrument. Now we have to think about in our lives, if I want to feel and experience joy, I also have to understand that joy is something that I build, that I conquer, that I grow to have. It's something that you earn, and you earn by giving. You earn by really generating within yourself and God, and then putting it outwards. So where there is injury, pardon. How many times we see injuries and all types of injuries? We're not talking about physically. We're talking about pardoning others doing. So it's very important for us to know, because we're so quick to point. We're so quick to point fingers. Last week we said, some people say at these, this time and age, we say, oh, stay home or go out and do what you need. If you're with the stay home and do not leave, but you're condemning someone that needs to go out, maybe it's better to say, what can I do for you in order for you not to go out? It's so much more beautiful, instead of us to going out there and condemning and looking at the injuries, looking at the wrongdoings, if you will, and creating more problems on top of it. Instead, it says pardon. That means understand. People are doing the best that they can. So a source of joy is also pardoning others' mistakes, whether you think it's a mistake or not, because how many times have we said that's a mistake, and then we realize, oh, that was actually not a mistake, or vice versa. It goes on to say, where there is doubt, let me bring faith. We don't need more doubt. Doubt is really, it goes against everything that we learn about faith. Because if faith is surrender and trust, then doubt is everything that is not trust. If we're going to trust in God, we have to trust in His doings. So if we sow doubt, we are perpetrating the idea that there is no control, that we are the ones in control, where we know very well that as spiritists that we have some control, we have free will. However, we have pure, entire control under the hands of God. So where there is doubt, let's bring faith. Let's not give in to conversation, especially today. If we want to experience joy, we can't give in to even more doubt. If somebody brings doubt, most of the time people want reassurance. People who bring doubt, I don't know if this will work out. I don't know if I'm going to lose my job. I'm not sure if I can do this. Every time that somebody brings you doubt, they are afraid. They want reassurance. They don't want more doubt. Think about all the friends that ask you, I really don't know where the world is going. I may not have a job tomorrow. I'm not sure if I'm handsome enough or beautiful enough to get a boyfriend. Or I'm not sure. People have so many doubts in their lives. So when they bring any kind of doubts, what do we have to do? If we are full of joy, we have to bring faith. We have faith as trust and surrender. Yes, you are beautiful. You will find someone for love if you look for love instead of beauty. Physically, that's what we're talking about, and whatever the concept is to that person. So let's experience and exercise joy by giving, not by expecting. Every time that you expect to smile, you are expecting happiness. Every time that you don't have expectations, but you simply do what's already inside of you, you're experiencing joy. So it goes on to say, and today we're talking about the prayer of St. Francis, where there is despair, hope. There's despair. There are plenty of people in utter and complete despair at this moment in our world. We have to bring hope. We cannot, under any circumstances, say, yep, we're all doom and gloom. There is nothing we can do. I see it too. Despair is really, do not wait. Despair, a sense of despair, is a sense of not being patient enough. And we need to bring the sense of, it'll be okay. And you know why it'll be okay? Because all of the other times in the whole history of the world, in our own personal history, in all the lives we have lived, it always ended up okay. Because we're always walking, gradually, but walking towards, really, some call it nirvana, but we're all walking towards perfection. And not happiness, but full joy with Christ. So we're going, where there is darkness, let me bring light. We don't need more darkness. See, when we expect people to give us all these things, we're expecting. We want to be happy. We don't want to be joyful. Joyful, I will give. So that's why this prayer of St. Francis is so powerful and so amazing. And where there is sadness, let me bring joy. It's exactly what he's saying. If there's sadness, you see, sadness should not be confused, or let me fix this. Joy should not be confused with just being always smiley and pretend it's all fine and dandy. Sometimes we're sad, and it's fine to be sad. Sometimes I cry. Who hasn't felt sad during this whole pandemic? Of course we're going to feel sad. That's a normal human emotion. The problem is when you are sad, you need at least that joy. Joy doesn't mean being smiling all the time. It just means that, deep inside, you're connected with the divine. And you exercise faith. You are together with the Lord. And you exercise surrender and faith. So you can be sad, and it's normal to feel compassion. It's normal to feel, yesterday I saw a picture that was the picture that made me cry. And there are many others, but that one just touched my heart. And I'll put it later on my Facebook and that picture, just seeing, it was really an elderly lady kissing a gentleman who was fully with a mask and everything. And just, there's so many meanings, that picture, that I felt, oh my goodness, and it's okay to cry. You don't have to here to compete with anyone. No one's here in a competition to see who can do more projects, who can read more books, who can be a better leader. No, you just have to feel joyful. And being joyful doesn't mean that you won't be sad. It's very interesting. Oh, Divine Master, grant that I may not so much seek, but to be not so much to seek, to be consoled as to console. So we're asking God, please give me the ability to be a consoler. Give me the ability to console others more than my own needs to be consoled. This is the meaning of searching for joy. You want God to equip you with the ability to fill others with joy. You're asking for God. This is St. Francis. He's asking God, not for himself, but he says, God, please, don't let me just put my own needs aside and let me be able to console those who need consoling. We have a lot of people that needs consoling. We have a lot of people who need you to email them, text them, and just say, hey, you know what? I was just thinking about you. I hope that, just this hello makes you smile a little bit, and I want you to know someone's thinking about you. That's also consoling. Chico Xavier was amazing because at one point, these mothers would cry and these mothers would come in despair sometimes and ask for Chico to send a message to see if there was a message for their children that have died and, discarnated. And a reporter once asked Chico, what do you do when a mother comes to you and she is crying and she is in despair because her child, passed away? And people expected Chico to say, I would tell her to read this book or to seek this counsel or to do this. And Chico simply said, I just cry with them. That's consoling. That's having empathy, immediate empathy to somebody else's pain and crying with them. Sometimes that's what you need to do, is really cry with them. We don't need to show superiority, that we know more, that we're spiritists, and we know that this is not the end. That's not what some people need to hear. Consoling means, I get your pain. Your pain touched me so profoundly that I empathize, and I'm going to just hug you and cry with you. So St. Francis did just that. He asked to be understood as to understand. He didn't care much to be understood. He didn't care much for people. That's just saying I'm liberating my own ego, because it doesn't matter if people look at me and say, you know, how many lectures sometimes we get this thing about, I wonder what people will say, or I want to be the stellar, perfect person, and this, and we care so much about us. And here's Francis of Assisi, full of joy, saying, I just want to understand. And that is the principal quality of a Christian, to really understand. Maybe you talk too much. And maybe you can start understanding people by lowering, instead of talking 80% of the time, you go down to 50. And then eventually you go down to 30. And you start listening, not to just say what you need to say right on top of them, but you start listening because you really want to understand. And that is a message from St. Francis. For it is giving that we receive. And sometimes we don't have to give. The fountain generates within you to give. I had a mother yesterday very sad because her son didn't remember her, and her son lives with her, and he was outside all day and he didn't think of her. Then he came home, and it was just sad. He was drunk, and there were some problems, and she was truly sad. And then eventually she said, you know, it was almost the end of the day, and I went on the Facebook and I found other mothers kind of similar. And then I started leaving texts to these mothers saying, hey, you're a good mom. Don't feel bad if your child didn't say Happy Mother's Day. Or, you know what, if you did the right thing with whatever information and possibilities you had, then you're a good mom. You don't need to have the thank you or Happy Mother's Day to know that you're the mother and you did the best you could. And then she started leaving messages, positive messages on everybody else's Facebook, the other mothers she knew in a group. And it was amazing because, see, she gave what she didn't have. And you know what? The next day, today, she called me and she says, you know, I feel so joyful. I get it, Deborah. I think I'm getting it. I don't even have to have in order to give. And then today on my Facebook, I wrote down something to the fact, it was actually midnight that, you know, I knew that was going on. And I said, you know, you're your own generator of joyfulness. You don't have to have it, just give. And then when you least expect it, you're full of it, of the very thing that you give. St. Francis goes on to say, for it is giving that we received. It is in pardoning that we are pardoned. We cannot keep pointing fingers. That is the worst. That is the most counterproductive thing that we can do. Instead of offering to help, we tell them what is wrong and what people are doing wrong, instead of coming up with solutions and saying what they're doing right. Because I guarantee the very person that you point fingers, it could be religious leaders or politicians or friends or teachers or anything. They also have great qualities. And we're never going to win somebody's attention by pointing all their faults. But the minute that you say, you know, there's something really good about you that I appreciate, then they'll listen. They'll start paying attention to you because you also can see the good in them. And people will start listening. And St. Francis will end with, and it is in dying that we are born to eternal life. And that's my message today. We have accomplished here our 15 minutes. I hope that you have enjoyed a little bit about the prayer of St. Francis and how it really is the soul of joyfulness. If you have just walked in or signed in, go back to the beginning because this is such a powerful message of St. Francis and how joyful you could learn to be. And we're all in the process of learning. Thank you, my friends. I hope that you're all here. And if you see my eyes going up and down, it's because I do 2 cameras for a few different places. But thank you. And let's fill ourselves with joy. Let's also be happy. There is nothing wrong with want to feel happiness from out to in. But let's really concentrate on the essence. And it's a spiritual essence that we are. And we need joyfulness, which is from in outwardly. Thank you so much, and I hope you guys have a wonderful week. We'll talk again next Monday night here, Good Harvest Fraternal Group, Kardec Radio, Drops of Light as well is here. Feel Different Spirited Center. May God bless you all. Thank you so much for listening. Thank you.